time management can be difficult for teenagers. They never actually get to learn those skills. Most of their day will be regimented by someone else. It takes the thinking out of time management. And this is why teenagers struggle when they are expected to manage their own time. Add to the mix, they believe they have a million other things going on all at the same time. No wonder it can become overwhelming. We all have 24 hours in a day. Whether you are the Queen of England, Kevin Hart, or a teenager revising for exams, we all have 24 hours. Time is a fascinating concept. It seems to speed up or slow down, depending on what we're doing. Boredom will turn time into a tortoise. Fun will turn it into a hare. And waiting for news will turn time into a torturous monster. Considering all its complexities, what is the elusive secret of time? And more importantly, of time management? Time will be your master or your slave. You decide. Teenagers tend to treat time like it is their master. And that goes for some of the rest of us too. When time is your master, it feels like there is never enough time. Everything is rushed. We're always struggling to get things done. Then there are some people in the world who have made time their slave. They balance so much, they get so much done, and still always seem to have time. What magic have these people unlocked? And how can we bottle this potion and give it to our teenagers? Well, I can't promise anything like that. And you can probably tell I've been watching a lot of Harry Potter recently. However, I can show you the principles your teenager needs to master to become the master of time. I was a smart kid. When I was in my early teens, things came very easy to me. That should have been a good thing, but it wasn't. It made me overestimate my own ability. It made me think I could get away with doing things last minute. It made me a professional procrastinator. The problem was that everyone else caught up, and a lot of people got ahead. I struggled with this a lot. I woke up one morning and I found myself swimming against the tide. So much work to catch up on, so little time. I treated time like my master, and it proved to be one horrible boss. These are the procrastination traps that you have to be on the lookout for when it comes to your teenager. If you can identify them, get your teenager to be aware of them, and have a joint plan to counter them, magic really will happen. Tomorrow is where dreams go to die. Does your teenager put everything off for as long as possible? I'll do it tomorrow, she says. And this seems to be on an infinite loop. This is a very specific form of procrastination. When it becomes a habit to mentally find time not to do something, that's a problem. That's why your kid's room is never clean until you're exploding at them. The teenager mentally calculates if they can keep putting something off for another time, until it becomes absolutely impossible to delay any further. Then they begrudgingly do the task. What sort of behaviour should you be on the lookout for to identify this habit in your teenager? Regularly putting things off. Regularly looking for excuses not to do something. Regularly calculating the last possible moment a thing can be done. As a parent, you need to step in to reverse this habit. Push the ethos that you never put anything off. That things are better done sooner rather than later. It's a process, but plant the seed, then keep watering it. But be encouraging and tough only when it's absolutely necessary. Slowly, change will take place. And they might even thank you for it one day, because the habit of getting things done rather than putting things off is an attribute associated with the most successful people in the world, from Bill Gates to Zendaya. Full marks if you know who the latter is. Trap 2 is the phenomena I call the small elephant. I understand I sound like David Attenborough, but bear with me. I'm not talking about literal elephants. I am, however, talking about distant deadlines, and the act of putting them off until they are very close and very intimidating. An elephant in the distance may seem tiny, but once it's in your face, it's no longer tiny. Distant deadlines can put us all into a false sense of security. It's not just teenagers that fall into this trap, but because their brains are still developing, teenagers are much more susceptible to this, as they tend to think in the short term. And since they're likely to be given a lot of papers to do in a short space of time, it becomes problematic. If you want a video on the science of how a teenager's brain works, comment below. As a parent, you need to be aware of your teenager's long-term deadlines, and you need to ensure they schedule time to work on it, bit by bit, instead of all at once, the night before it's due. There needs to be a plan. This is an excellent opportunity to cultivate the habit of planning in your teenager. Sit down with them and formulate a strategy for tackling the task. Encourage and hold accountable. This is another habit of successful people. Benjamin Franklin told us, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Teenagers can be overwhelmed when there is a lot to do. But again, this is an opportunity to cultivate a habit that will hold your teen in good stead for the rest of his or her life. The third procrastination trap is the long break. Your teenager finally settles down to do some work. He sits at his desk, gets started, everything is going so well. Then, your teen decides to take a break that ends up lasting hours, if not days. I've worked with very bright students who have been held back by this. That isn't to say that breaks aren't important. They are very important when used strategically. Sitting down and working for hours is actually counterproductive. The brain starts to drop in focus around the 45-minute mark. After that, maintaining concentration becomes an uphill struggle. So it is advised to take a break at that point. That's not the problem. The problem is not having the willpower to go back and continue. This will hold your teenager back no end. They will get less done, they will make less progress, they will quickly find themselves left behind. This adds to the stress levels of a teenager. From there it becomes a downward spiral. It is important that once your teen has a plan or a timetable, that they do not fall into the trap of taking breaks that last much longer than the work done. You can do this by making your teenager conscious of this trait in a non-judgmental way that focuses on positive outcomes rather than negativity. Reinforce that it is the effort that counts and that they won't always get it right, but each time they try, they will grow in strength and it will become easier. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we will cover how to make your teenager productive in 6 steps. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment below. More importantly, don't forget to join the revolution in parenting. The link is in the description. Bye for now.